Rachel V. Hill, taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of Joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel V. Hill.
What is up, everyone? We are getting into 8 observations that I have from the Packers versus Broncos game. Obviously, only preseason game. Let me know if you end up liking these type of videos, because maybe we'll continue with them throughout the season. I'm already checking the comments, seeing them come in. Keep them coming for me, please. And I promise you, only one of these observations has to do with Bo Nix, because of course we have to talk about Bo Nix. Is it really even a Bronco show if you don't talk about Bo Nix? But I was just checking my phone. The Pan Am, like the BMW championships going on down in Castle Pines. Gabriel Landeskog is signing autographs after, which is so dang cool. Can't wait to see the captain get back out there. But let's move on to some Broncos stuff. Obviously, we've got practice back at it again. No media was available on Monday or Tuesday, but they are back out there today. Cecil Lammey is going to join me for tomorrow's coffee break, giving us all the updates on what's going on there, out practice and all of that jazz. But let's get into it. The first observation, we're going to start with the quarterback just to get it rolling, because like I said, you have to. You can't have a Bronco show without talking about Bo Nix now at this, like, any point, because people are so excited about the quarterback. And trust me, I get it. It is, the future is finally here. I had posted something on social media with like an emotional emoji, because the future is finally here. People can get excited about a quarterback, but there is going to be those rookie mistakes. And let's get me wrong. Bo Nix is obviously quarterback number 1. 6 scoring drives, 23 of 33 passes, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 0 sacks. Big one right there. Bo Nix looks really solid. And so it's very obvious that he is, in fact, quarterback number 1. I mean, just look at the stats that he had against the Packers. 8 of 9, 80 yards, 8.9 average, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, and that quarterback rating. The quarterback rating is looking really good right there at 140.7. But also, Nix was never sacked during the preseason at all. We saw him use his legs, so we can't forget about the 29 yards on the ground for 6 carries too. We're seeing the fact that his 61 career starts in college are paying off for him. The maturity he has, the poise he has when he gets out there, the way he handles pretty much everything from his press conferences to the way he practices to the way he is in the locker room. Everything around Bo Nix just shows you maturity, and it's so much fun to watch. But we're going to see those rookie mistakes happen. We obviously saw one of the touchdowns get called back because he stepped over the line of scrimmage, threw the ball. It happens. He said he knew practically that it was going to get called back, but he was like, I didn't see any flags, so I was hopeful. And then, of course, instant replay, they always mess with them. So he knows these things. He knows all these little mistakes that we're going to be seeing. But we also saw him checking out the play call sheet, which, by the way, he doesn't have it on his wrist. He's got it on a little thing on his pants. We saw him check on that quite a few times down there at the game, just getting used to the playbook. And we also know that Sean Payton called plays for Bo Nix and for all of the quarterbacks that were very comfortable with the quarterbacks. Like, these were plays that they run that they felt good about. So we were seeing a highlight reel essentially of Bo Nix and the play calls that Sean Payton's going to do. So what happens when it's not the things that they're comfortable with? I mean, he's still checking that play call sheet, and he's like, okay, I need to make sure we're good here. We're here. Perfect. We're ready to roll. So that's great. But the game is fast. So got to be able to pick up on that. I'm excited to see what he's able to do. Okay. So we will be done. Okay. I want to get to this comment real quick. I'm so happy to be back doing these live with you guys. This is my favorite part, is getting to see all of your comments. Still believing in his professionalism. He's so professional. It's crazy for the fact that, yeah, he had 61 starts between Auburn and Oregon. And I mean, you would just, like, I don't know, the way he handles himself in all areas. And he's not like a PR guy, right? Like, Russell Wilson was a PR guy. We saw Russ put on a show every single time that he got up at the podium. Bo Nix is not like that at all, right? He got asked the question, do you believe that you've done enough to earn the starting job? And his answer is, that's not for me to decide. And they're like, well, what about your body of work? Do you feel like confident when you're done? He goes, yep. Like, he's not going to sit there and give you some like BS answer. He's just ready to go. He wants to talk ball, and that's exactly it. So still believing in his professionalism. That is me as well. And I am believing in the quarterback of the future, and that the time is now. All right, let's switch on over to the defensive side of things, because we have to talk about Riley Moss and Damari Mathis, because I still don't think we have an answer for what this is going to look like when it comes to the cornerback position. It just doesn't seem decided yet. Things are, I mean, it's tight competition. Like, we can look at the stats for these two guys from the past 2 weeks for the preseason games. things are really, really solid right there just between both of them. But I actually feel like despite Tamari having one extra solo tackle in there, or one extra assist, excuse me, in there, it really does kind of feel like Riley Moss is the talk that everybody is, kind of hinting at. It feels like he's the guy that's in the headlines. I mean, they both had a decent camp. I will say Riley Moss has probably had a little bit more of an exciting camp, but I feel like Damari Mathis maybe has had even a little bit of a better preseason games. I don't know. It's just it's so hard to be able to get a feel on all of these guys, but it does feel like they're still head and head, and like we're not sure which way they're going to end up going in the direction that they are. So for the game on Sunday, of course, against the Cardinals, that is the one position I'm really, really, really going to be paying attention to. And this week out at practice too, we're going to ask Cecil Lammy for tomorrow's episode of Coffee Break too, but which one of these guys is really going to pull himself ahead this week. So I'm going to be excited to see who's going to earn that starting role. Cut downs a week from yesterday. It's crazy to think about that. James Palmer and I talked a lot about that yesterday on Coffee Break. It's just, it's all here. It's rolling. I can't believe we're coming into the third preseason game. It's the most boring game out of the year, and I feel like everybody always agrees with this, but it's also probably one of the most insightful games of the year because there's so much that you learn about this team and the depth and everything of that. Now, let's talk about a guy that everybody has been so freaking excited about, and we were worried. I was worried. James Palmer was worried. James Merilatt was worried. Everybody was worried, and he told everybody to shut up because he's going to be just fine, and it's this guy right here. Tim Patrick has played lights out. I think that he has proven that, you know what? Yeah, I was hurt, but I came back. I'm a part of this team. I am ready to go out there and just absolutely separate myself. And he's done that. And we look at the wide receiver room. I don't know how the heck Sean Payton is going to be able to figure this out. Look at how many guys you have right here on this list, and you got to get it down. Little Jordan Humphreys, you got Brandon Johnson, Vele, Jalen Virgil, David Sills, Cortland Sutton, Josh Reynolds, Tim Patrick, Troy Franklin, and Marvin Mims 100% are going to make this team. The rest of the guys, you have no clue if they're actually going to end up on this 53-man roster. And I think it's fascinating, but I'm so happy for Tim Patrick and the fact that he's getting that opportunity again. 5 receptions on 5 targets, 44 yards. 14 was the longest one you saw, 14 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 fumbles. And of course, you gotta respect the freaking mile high salute from him. It was just really cool to see him get back out there. And I was really worried. That was one of the big names, is he just hasn't looked great out there in training camp, but that's why the preseason games are so important, because he looked great out there. He's clearly very involved. We've heard a lot of locker room talk about him, how he is that guy. They would have been a better team if he had been in the locker room the past 2 years, not just on the field, but off the field too. So Tim Patrick has separated himself. I would be absolutely mind blown if he somehow did not make the 53-man roster. So with that, I say Tim Patrick, circling him on my list, saying, yep, he's going to end up making it, which is really, really exciting. All right, let's see. I'm reading the comments. Sutton, Patrick, Mims, Vele, Reynolds keep 5 on active roster to keep the 3 quarterbacks. That is one of the hardest things about this entire cut that is going to come down next Tuesday, is the fact that you have 3 quarterbacks, and where you are going to make room on the roster to keep 3 of those quarterbacks. I truthfully just do not know. I don't know if you're doing that on the running back room, if you're going to do it on the wide receiver room. There's just so many questions that we have of all right, I don't know. I don't know what the heck they're going to do. It's crazy. I keep people saying, got to keep Troy Franklin. They will. They moved up for him. They're going to keep Troy Franklin no matter what. So don't worry about that one. He'll be on the roster too, which sucks because he hasn't really looked that good, and they can't afford to put him on the practice roster because, in fact, somebody will probably come get him. They will look at his college tape and say, oh yeah, we want him, pull him off for waivers and stuff like that. So unfortunately, that means that somebody like Devon Vele, who's looked really, really solid in camp, he might get cut. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but Sutton, Patrick, Reynolds, and Mims will all make the team. And then after that, it really does make it a little bit harder. So we'll see. But a lot of veterans out there that, of course, have looked relatively solid as well. So thank you guys for the comments. Keep them coming. I love reading all of them. All right, let's get back though to our number 4 observation of the day is the O-line, not the starters. The starters, They look good. They look cohesive. The fact that Bo Nix can run, that's helping this O-line look better. But the O-line depth, holy smokes, do they need some help. They have looked absolutely atrocious. Like I said, first team looking solid. But if any of those guys go down, they're in trouble. Losing Quinn Bailey really, really hurts this Denver Broncos team for sure. And it is a little scary. Alex Forsythe, he was supposed to be in the competition with Luke Wattenberg. Although I do remember me saying, before training camp even started, it's Luke Wattenberg's job. And that has proven to be very, very clear. Alex Forsythe, though, he's just not having a good time, man. I don't know what has happened. It has just looked rough for the guy. He has not had any good showings, but Luke Wattenberg, it is his job. He gets to keep it. I'm excited for him too. I think that he's going to do a really nice job in with this offensive line and kind of keep everybody nice and cohesive and together. And like I said, it's really nice for Bo Nix, the fact that he can move so that if things get a little extra pressure on that line, he can move, and he is speedy, quick. Okay. I agree. The online depth is horrendous, terrible. I'm like, you guys got to figure out something. And Sean Payton says all the time that it's not about, it's about building your 53-man roster and making sure that you have the best team. But there is always guys that are going to end up getting cut, not on the 53-man roster, and you go and steal those guys from other teams. So I wouldn't be surprised if they added some sort of depth from any of the other teams that end up getting cut, and they try and bring in some of those guys. Because, yeah, I mean, it is literally terrible. They look atrocious. Even the O-line starters need to clean up the penalties, though. Yes, we'll see that preseason. I feel like not jitters, I want to say, but just getting back out there, getting used to it. You've been rotating in your cadence with 3 different quarterbacks, so it's been really important to get that number 1 guy out there so we can get in the rhythm and not have all of this bouncing back. So I know I would say by probably week 3, week 4, we're going to see a lot of that kind of stuff clean up, because we're going to be seeing them, of course, just have their one guy that they're working with constantly. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. I am seeing some questions come in. I will promise I will get to some more of those as we just keep rotating down on this list, though. But this one kind of goes into it. How do you think Vance has done with the defense so far? Well, let me tell you this. I think the fact that they have Jonah Ellis on this team, they hit an absolute home run with this pick. Jonah Ellis has looked fantastic. 3 total tackles. He's got 12 assists, 2 solo tackles, 1 sack. He's looked like a complete stud out there as a rookie. He's been a great interview. I mean, he doesn't give you all that much, but you can tell he is just mentally thinking ball all the time. You watch his eyes process everything. He's been a quick learner. We've seen him continue to improve time and time again, week after week when it came to training camp. And I feel like throughout the preseason, he's looked good. He's going to be a name that you can get on the back of your jersey and know he is going to stay. And so I think having guys like this with Vance Joseph has been really impressive. And I do think that that's going to tremendously help him out with keeping his job. We've talked about that plenty here on this show. There's plenty of episodes we can get into, but yeah, I'm really, really pumped for how this defense is starting to look. I feel like I was a little harsh on them on Monday and on Tuesday when I was like, they're going up against the second teams. They're still allowing first downs. Like, what's going on? But you know what? Football is football no matter what. These guys are all professional. They're going to move the ball on them. But overall, I do think that the defense has looked relatively solid. And it does feel like the defense had been winning at camp every single week, like if we just have an overview of it. So I'm excited to see what they look going up against in an actual game, because preseason, I get it. It's kind of a game. But I'm excited to see how they go up against Geno Smith and the Seahawks come week 1. That'll be the true, real test. But Jonah Ellis has looked like an absolute stud. And so I'm really excited to see him. And I think him and Nick Bonito can become an absolute duo behind Jonathan Cooper and Baron Browning. And I'm really excited to hopefully see that just as the young guys and bring a different energy. Jonathan Cooper is my dog on the team. I've talked about that on an episode of Coffee Break too. That man is just a DAWG straight dog. And so I'm excited. Baron Browning, he's got to be able to step it up this year. I'm hopeful he can stay healthy and do that. But if not, they got Nick Bonito and Jonah Ellis behind him. And I think that they would be great backups as well in the rotation. Okay, number 6 on my list is Zach Allen is going to play a major role in this defense this year. I feel like last year was a little disappointed. Obviously, when he came over from the Cardinals, everybody was really excited about him. They were having really high hopes for him. And I just feel like we didn't really hear his name all that often being called. Now, that doesn't mean that he's not, involving himself in a certain place somehow, but it just feels like the highlight reel didn't really make it over here to Denver. So I'm excited to see him this year, but I do think that we're seeing his improvement already. And the way he studies and the way Vance Joseph has talked about his studying, I do think has really provided a lot for the younger guys too to like learn from him. And they talked about how he's learned so much of that from JJ Watt. And I do feel like, I mean, one of the best in the business, right? Hall of Fame guy through and through. But the fact that he's learned all of those techniques from him too is only going to be more beneficial. But I think this will be the year that we see him really step up. So I'm excited for Zach Allen. And I think it's going to be one of those things where it's like we see him, even if his name's not coming up on anything, it's going to be like he applied the pressure here. And then this was able to transpire because of that. So I'm excited for a Zach Allen with my number 6 observation of the game versus the Packers. Okay. Another one, we have a really fun thing to talk about, and this actually involves Courtland Sutton, which I've been happy that Courtland Sutton seems so happy. We saw the video with my friend Brady and her baby, so stinking cute. Courtland Sutton took the baby. It was like all over social media. I just love that for them, but Courtland Sutton seems really happy. And I feel like in times, especially last year, Courtland Sutton was Russell Wilson's guy, but we also saw him get frustrated quite a few times when Russ didn't get him the ball. And it was like, dude, I was wide open and yet you didn't get me anything. And it feels so different this year. Like, and of course, him and Tim Patrick are friends, but there were a few times where Court was open the other day in the game and they shot it over to Tim Patrick. And Courtland didn't get frustrated. Like, he wasn't mad about not being the number one guy in that instance. Now, of course, him and Tim Patrick, like I said, they're friends. So it's not surprising. Everybody's happy to see what Tim Patrick is doing and being out there and scoring touchdowns and all of that jazz. But we also saw Courtland Sutton on the sidelines. And I wish there had been a video. I wish I would take him it, but of course it happened in like the spur of the moment. There was a balloon that was flying around on the field and they finally got it. Like, the players were like kicking it and hitting it right before the play is about to start. And one of the refs grabbed the balloon and like tossed it behind him. And of course the wind was like taking it. And so it was carrying it and it got over to the sideline. And Courtland Sutton was like holding the balloon and he like sticks it up in the air for Broncos country. And they went berserk and he had the biggest smile on his face. And it just shows me that this team is having fun together. And we have heard Jared Stidham say time and time again that this team is all hanging out together. It's the defense hanging out with the offense hanging out with the defense. And you can just really tell by the way they're all like presenting themselves. And to see Courtland Sutton, you know, he's sticking that ball up. And again, I know it's preseason, but it's like the little things that matter in these instances. And he's sticking that ball up or the balloon up and everybody is freaking out and screaming. And it's just the biggest smile on his face that we haven't seen in so long. And it was just one of those things where I was like, they are having fun and he's happy to be there. And I'm happy he's here. And I'm excited to see him get his bonus, get 1,000-yard season, have a quarterback that can get him the ball and all of that jazz. So it was just one of those things where I wish I would have had my phone on me just so I could have recorded it because it was so priceless, the fact that he had this giant smile on his face. So really fun, but I'm happy this team is having fun together. My last one for you, then we can get to some of the comments that are coming in. But Javonte Williams, thank goodness he's lost 11 pounds. He looks fast. He looks speedy. He looks like he's having a great time out there. I'm enjoying watching him. I think that this is going to be his comeback year. 2 years removed from injury. He looks really good. He cut down on those tackies. Like, he just looks really solid. So I cannot wait for week 1. I would be shocked if you saw him on Sunday. I think we're going to see a majority of the starters, Patrick Surtain, Zach Allen, all of those type of guys. I think you're going to see them sit. Courtland Sutton, Tim Patrick. No need to get anybody hurt in a preseason game. I don't know about quarterbacks. I don't know if Sean Payton is going to announce on Friday if it's going to be Bo Nix as your starter, so we don't end up seeing him. But one way or another, I'm really pumped for Javonte Williams and a lot of these starters, and I cannot wait for meaningful football. Like, who is so freaking pumped to have meaningful football? I can't wait for Seattle. I'm so ready. All right, let's get to some of these comments because I see them all coming in, so thank you. I'm excited just to spend a little bit of time with you guys. Like I said, during camp, it was so hard because I was recording them immediately after camp so that I had all of my ideas popping in my head, and I was like, okay, I just saw this. Like, this is the stuff I want to share, and I was trying to do things that weren't in the headlines as much, but I'm so happy to be back live with you guys and just reading all the comments and all that jazz. So let's see. Can't wait until you give us your take on Russell Westbrook, Rachel. Sorry, Nug's on my mind too. It's going to be here before we know it. I promise I will have a take for you. I'm excited to see him out there at practice though in training camp for sure. What are your thoughts on Ellis? Could he be our defensive rookie of the year? I totally think he could. He's looked really solid, truthfully. I feel like the beginning of camp, it was a little like, all right, we're getting into it. Like, are you going to be the player we're all thinking you can be? And then it just took a step. And especially in the games, I feel like we've seen a step with him moving up. So Jonah Ellis, really impressive. They got a home run with that pick, and I'm excited for him, and I'm excited to see him grow and all of that jazz. So yeah, that would be my pick on Jonah Ellis. Could he be defensive rookie of the year for the Broncos? Totally. Let's see. We've always had special teams return issues. What are your thoughts on this year's return game? First of all, love this question. How are we liking the new kickoffs? Like, are we used to the pausing and like waiting for them to catch the ball? Do we think we are going to see more touchdowns now in the game? I just feel like I'm not totally used to it. I'm not really somebody who's great with change. I'm getting better as I get older, but it's just weird to see. It is fun though, because you get to see more, it's not just the fastest guys out there on the team. Like there is more like of a thought process that goes into it. So that's been really fun to see. But let's see. I don't know exactly what my thoughts on like the return team are. I mean, I think we're still going to see probably some of the issues that we saw last year. Let's hope that they can keep the flags down. But I mean, Marvin Mims, he's a stud. He's fun. He's exciting to watch in a sense. I feel like I'm not quite on the hype train as much on Marvin Mims as a lot of other people are. And I feel a little guilty about that. If you can't tell from the way I'm answering that question, is he's really fun and like he's exciting, but I just feel like he hasn't hit that ceiling yet. Like the potential is still so there, and I'm like waiting for him. And I'm like, are you just going to forever be that return guy? Like, are you ever going to take that next step? And I know we saw him a little bit in the rotation and people were excited about him last year with Russ in town, but otherwise I just kind of look at him for that position and I'm like, all right, we need you to make some moves. We need you to take it back to the house a few times with these new rules. So that would be my thoughts on the return game. What running backs will they keep? Javonte Williams, obviously. Audric Estime, of course. Why are they all blanking on me right now? Blake Watson, possibly get in there. McLaughlin, that's who I'm like blanking on right now. Those ones for sure. Blake Watson is like a 50-50. I don't know, just because they're going to have to work some magic with the three quarterbacks, how much talent they got at wide receiver, yada, yada. But I think Samaje Perine is going to be gone. I would not be surprised, especially because they saved some money if they cut him as well. So I do not think he will be making the 53-minute roster, but I think those three, Javonte Williams, Audric Estime, and Jaleel McLaughlin, for sure. You got a little bit of thunder and lightning in both of those, and the speed, and somebody that can pound the rock as well. And then Audric Estime feels like a good fit that can kind of do all of it. The question is who can be pass protection as well. It's not going to be Javonte out there for that kind of thing. So can Audric Estime and Jaleel kind of serve as that unit? We will find out though. But yeah, I would say would be my running back room. See, we talked about this at the very beginning of the show. Between Damari Mathis and Riley Moss, I feel like it's very much up there of like, I don't know which one they're going to go with. It seems like Riley Moss is getting all of the headlines, but it feels really, really close. So I'm not sure. That's what I'm going to be paying attention to on Sunday against the Cardinals. Let's see. You guys, keep the questions coming. There's so many. Could morale be improving without having Russ around? So crazy, because Russell Wilson, I truthfully believe that he's a really good person, but I do think that the Nathaniel Hackett drama and how much freedom Russell Wilson was given, I think left a bad taste in a lot of players' mouths. And even when Sean Payton came in and things changed, it was still like this hierarchy. And I do think that it caused a lot of morale issues in the locker room with Russell Wilson around. So I think things have gotten a lot better since he's left. I obviously don't know. I'd be so curious to see how it is down there in Pittsburgh now, if there is some morale issues as well, and it just kind of follows Russ. But I'm just happy that he's gone and the morale around the team has gotten a lot better as well. Okay, we're gonna do one more question. One more. Dun 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 dun. Ooh. What player will be missed this year to our team that we had to let go in the off season? Real quick, back to this thing. Judy has some bad mojo also. I totally agree with that statement. Okay. I mean, this is such an easy question. It's so I'm actually going to let you guys take a second. Well, I'll give you 30 seconds to say, like, guess who I'm going to say, but it's easy. It's a really easy guy, but you had to let him go. It was time to say goodbye to all the bad juju of the past. So I'm going to give you like 30 more seconds and tell me who you like think I'm guessing, because it's an easy decision. It's an easy answer on this one. While we do this, dun, 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 it will be P. Ryan, not P. Ryan. No. And I guess I'm looking at somebody that they already let go that we will miss this year. So in case I read the question wrong. But while we wait for you guys to submit some answers for this, I do appreciate you guys for hanging out with me and spending some time letting me talk some ball. I'll be out there at practice again tomorrow, so I'm excited to see what's going to be going on. I just saw one of the things came in. It said Sierra, so that's kind of funny. But there's a lot of really good content coming your way. And let me know if you guys are still enjoying all of the vlogs. It's been one of the hardest things is when I originally started all of the In the Sports Office vlogs that you've seen from me, I had so much freedom. I was allowed to record in the press box. I was allowed to record reactions and give you guys what it actually was like to hang out up there. Unfortunately, now I'm so limited with what I can share. And I saw a lot of people who were like, oh, you get to share your food and stuff. And it's like, well, that's kind of all I really can share. I can't share anything down on the field. I can barely share anything that happens on the Jumbotron. I can't share my reaction because other media members get upset in the press box if there's a camera on them. So I feel like I'm pretty limited in what I'm allowed to share, but I want to give you guys stuff that you actually enjoy watching. So let me know if you still like them, please. And thank you. And then, yeah. Oh, I love the vlogs. Just wish I had more time to be interactive. Well, thank you. Yeah, please let me know, because that's one of the things I'm always trying to make sure that finding content to give you guys the experiences. I'm so fortunate that I get to live these out, but I want you guys to feel like you're also there. So for sure. Okay. Finally, though, some people got the answer. I was a little concerned for a second. Simmons. We are going to miss Jay Simmons' photo. Oh, comments keep coming in. But anyways, yes, it was all about Justin Simmons. That's an easy one. His leadership will be missed for sure on and off the field. And then also just the fact, 30 interceptions in his career, you guys, like legendary. The Broncos would have lost a lot more games if he hadn't been there to save the day on some of those interceptions. So he will definitely be the man I miss for sure out there. I cannot believe that we are almost at 30 minutes on the show. It's crazy. It went by so fast. Let me know again if you... oh, hold on. Do we have some breaking news? Hold on, everybody. We have some breaking news. Sean Payton officially named Bo Nix the starting QB. Whoo, baby. Okay, we're going to stay on a little bit longer. Stay on a little bit longer. I am so hyped right now. You guys, that is so exciting. Bo Nix officially named the starter. Bo Nix officially. Sorry, I'm tweeting this out so people can come hang out with us. Yeah, let's go, everybody. Yes, heck yeah, about time. Live, let's go. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that we were live during this. Officially named starting QB. Come hang out. We are live. Oh, you guys, how pumped are all of you? How exciting is this? This is crazy. Finally, though, we see it. Gosh, hold on real quick. I'm going to try and download this video while we're all hanging out. Keep the comments coming. Let me know how excited you are. But I would love to hear what Sean Payton actually had to say about it. And I want to be able to share it with all of you guys too. So stay put for just a quick second. This is so exciting. I'm so pumped about this. I can't believe he's finally, oh my gosh, you guys, this is just so freaking exciting. Thank goodness. Let's see if I can get this video coming. Dun, 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 dun. I just want to hear. I feel like it's so funny. Let's see. Keep it coming. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my goodness, you guys, I'm clicking on like way too many things right now. I'm so excited that I'm like almost antsy. I cannot believe it though. Finally, we get Sean Payton, who announces that Bo Nix is the starting quarterback. This is such a big Like, this is massive. This is like a day in history because we finally have had the juggling with all of the quarterbacks since Peyton Manning. Like, yes, this is big, but it's big because it's the first rookie. You guys, it'll be the first rookie in Broncos history who will start for the Denver Broncos, because John Elway was the last rookie, but he was obviously traded. So this is just a major deal. I am so excited about it. I'm so pumped. Keep the comments coming. He was about to dip. I was about to head off. I'm like, oh, we've been on here for 30 minutes. Like, I feel like I gave everybody what I wanted to talk about. But now I'm like, holy crap. Like, Bo Nix has been named the starter. This is so exciting. I'm pulling that video, so stay tuned with me for just a few more seconds, you guys. Let me get all of this set. You guys, how freaking cool is that? I'm going to get back to some of your comments. I promise. I'm so excited though. Keep it coming. Oh, I'm so happy. Finally, I thought we were going to go through another week where they were going to be like, oh my gosh, here he is. Is it going to be Jared Cinnamons or is it going to be Bo Nix? And Bo Nix has very much so deserved this. He's looked lights out. We talked about his stats early on. I mean, seriously, the rating from preseason game number 2 is 140.7. Nix was never sacked. We saw him move. We saw him have the legs. Look at the smile on the guy. Oh, just kidding. That's Tim Patrick. But a stud, you guys. So I'm so excited. Breaking news. Bo Nix named the Broncos starters. Thanks for staying. We love your energy. I'm just as pumped as you guys. That's one of the best parts of these jobs is I get to be a fan for all of you. So I love being able to hang out with you. And this is such a huge moment. So we're going to stay on as long as you guys will have me. Let's all hang out. I'm pumped. I'm so excited. We got our QB. Nix, let's go. This had to be the decision. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for Bo Nix. I mean, like we said at the very beginning, 61 career starts in college. Like, the man has matured and he has grown in college. And here it is helping us so much. I've got so many people texting me right now that are like, oh my gosh, love this, love this, love this. Oh, yes, come hang out with us. I'm getting all sorts of tweet about Bo Nix. We're so pumped, you guys. I'm so excited to be hanging out. Let's see what else. I'm still mad that Lux chose number 3. I was hoping Zach Wilson chose 3. Wouldn't that have been so funny? I know that was like one of the big jokes about it too. Okay, let's see if this video will play now, because I'm curious to see what Sean Payton had to say following the news today. So let's see real quick, everybody. Bear with me getting that video uploaded for all of you. Let's see here in just a second. Sean Payton finally announcing that the Broncos have their new starting quarterback. I'm so pumped up. I'm more relieved than excited right now. Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise that they were choosing Bo Nix, obviously. I mean, look at how he's looked out there, but this is still a massive deal. But here's Sean Payton.
Just a couple quick notes. Today was a ramp-up practice, coming off the day off. We have 50 active members of the military at practice today, and it was kind of nice to see them kind of have access that they did, and we appreciate them being here. I want to talk real quick about the quarterback position. You guys have been real patient. I understand, and respect that process for you, and for us, we've had a process. So, look, Bo Nix is going to be our starting quarterback. I felt like, and I said this to you guys 2 weeks ago, that room has been outstanding. Stidham, certainly with his experience, and then, being able to work with Zach Wilson, all 3 of those guys. We've got some tough decisions as we get into the roster. I don't want to get into all the other roster battles.
Okay, so fascinating. Because if you remember, essentially when Bo Nix or when Sean Payton was talking about it, he was saying we're not naming a starting quarterback because there's still other positions that we have to figure out. Now he's kind of changed his tune a little bit. So Bo Nix officially named the Broncos starting quarterback. Exciting stuff. The first rookie to ever start week 1 in the NFL for the Broncos. So this is massive stuff. It's just history for franchise sake, but obviously, John Elway was a rookie, but that came from a trade. So this is the first drafted rookie who will start for the Denver Broncos. So really, really exciting stuff right now. I'm just seeing all of the comments coming. Keep them coming because I know Broncos country is just about as excited as you. Sean already knew that Bo will be quarterback number 1. And he did. And it's been very, very clear. I mean, this is such a huge thing for the Broncos to finally narrow down their guy. And it has been a good battle. I will give Jarrett Stidham all of the praise in the world because he has helped Bo Nix immensely grow. But this is going to be massive because he looks relatively solid. I'm curious if it's going to be Jarrett Stidham or Zach Wilson. Sean Payton has talked a lot about Zach Wilson and has praised him a lot as well. We all saw the Scoop City podcast. So it wouldn't surprise me if Zach Wilson ended up being the backup or if they're going to go with Jarrett Stidham or if Jarrett Stidham even gets cut. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, right? Like there's so many different, we talk about the wide receiver room all the time. We talk about the running back room. That's just on the offensive side of things. And there's so much talent there that it's going to be really hard to narrow down that 53. Maybe you do let Jarrett Stidham go and you just say, hey, Zach, you have some NFL experience. We know that you can go out there and sling the football a little bit. They save a little bit of money there. They also open up another roster spot in case Bo Nix goes down. So let me know actually in the comments, if you had to pick one, if you had to pick a quarterback to back up Bo Nix, who would you do, Jarrett Stidham or Zach Wilson? Let us know. I'm reading some of these comments. Keep coming. I'm so happy that we were live for all of this, you guys. So much fun. Gosh, this feels so different. Good decisions are being made with this team. This does feel so different. The roller coaster that we went on with Russell Wilson, it just feels... It kind of goes back to the thing with Justin Simmons that we were all talking about. It feels like we've gone on this roller coaster time and time again. When we all got Russell Wilson, we were over the moon. We thought, here we come to the Super Bowl. Then the first season happened and it was a nightmare, but all the blame got put on Nathaniel Hackett. So we were down here in the dumps and then we went back up when, Sean Payton came in to save Russell Wilson and then the season was a disaster. But now, okay, we might have some guests coming in here in just a second. Hold on. We might have a guest coming in to give us a little bit more on what Sean Payton has said since the press conference has ended. So stick around. That could be a really fun one, you guys. I'd be excited about that as well. I'm reading some more. I'd still stick with Stidham at the backup. So well liked by his teammates. He does provide a really good locker room presence too. So would definitely like that for sure. But happy to see the fact that Bo Nix is the starting quarterback. You guys, 6 scoring drives, 33 passes, 23 of 33 passes. Excuse me. We saw him 2 touchdowns in the preseason, 0 interceptions, 0 fumbles, 0 sacks. He's looked really good. He can move too. How can we forget? Even he had his 29 yards on the ground for 6 carries. I've loved being able to watch him go out there each and every single time too. So there's finally excitement around Bo Nix being out there. Like, I think that's the major thing that we're all really learning is there is excitement about the quarterback coming out, being a rookie, looking really solid too. It's not like it's just another rookie. It's not another guy. It's a guy that's looked really good out there. And so I think people are really excited about that as well. So I'm pumped about it. I'm excited to see him go out there. I saw somebody who asked, do we think that Bo Nix will play on Sunday? No. They are not going to even try and touch that. So for sure, Bo Nix, I guarantee none of the starters are going to play on Sunday. It's going to just be the backups. It's going to be a battle between Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson. Okay, so yeah, we are going to have somebody who's going to hop in and come give us a recap on what's going to happen with Sean Payton, what else he's talked about. So yeah, I don't think we will see Bo Nix, any of the starters out there on Sunday, which makes the game a little less interesting, but I am excited now for the rest of practice. It's going to be Bo Nix and the ones. The chemistry is finally going to get better. That was my biggest thing with the entire training camp process that really pissed me off was the fact that we are not allowing the rest of our starters to grow in this process. So now that Bo Nix can finally get that cadence going with the offensive line, everybody can learn his way of calling plays and all of this jazz. The team's only going to get better. So what we've already seen has been really good. I would call it a B, C plus, a B almost at this point. And yes, I know they've looked relatively solid, but now we can finally see that improvement and that chemistry come in. So I'm going to be really, really pumped. Okay, get back to some of your comments. Let's see. I'd really try to keep all 3 quarterbacks. I think they will. Like, I would be shocked if they didn't, but there's just so much other talent around that team, especially on the offensive side of things, that it hurts you to keep 3 quarterbacks because you got to cut off some other guys that could really use you. Zach Wilson has the talent and is regaining his confidence under SP. Yes, which is why I could see them possibly saying, you know what, we're going to move on from Jarrett Stidham. I could see that happening actually, but he is getting his confidence back. I'm not going to lie, you guys. I've watched that guy and I feel bad for him. I actually texted my good friend Romy Bean the other day after the press conference. Zach Wilson comes up to the podium first after Sunday's game. And, usually the second you get up there, if you've been a starting quarterback or any sense, the second you get in front of the mic, people are literally like, okay, and he got up there and there was probably a good 40 seconds where like nobody said anything. And you just saw in his eyes, like, is anybody going to ask me anything? And I felt so bad for him in that moment. It was like a deer in headlights, just like, oh my gosh. And it was a good 40 seconds. And then finally they got some questions out. But I can't imagine his confidence in the blow that he's had of having to go back from essentially, being the starting guy. Aaron Rodgers comes in, takes that from you. Then you get thrown back out there. Then you get traded. And then you're like, okay, well, possibly I might be in the mix. And then they go and draft a quarterback. So here you are. Like the roller coaster that man has been on, it pretty much qualifies the same roller coaster that the Broncos have been on the past few days as well. Let's see. I'm still reading these comments. Oh, okay. We got a buddy here who just finished watching Sean Payton finish at the podium. So we're going to bring him in, see what he can tell us. Did you see Coach's face when he announced Bo as the starter? I did, in fact, see Sean Payton's face because he didn't want to say it, Jake Shapiro. He really didn't want to say it, but he was also ready to finally make the announcement. We have our quarterback.
Yeah, we do. We have a quarterback in Denver, Colorado. You're right that he was a little apprehensive because Sean Payton likes to play coy. About 9 minutes into this, he just broke into whatever he was saying, and he goes, one of my goals for this offseason was trying to improve my relationship with the local media, and everyone laughed. So Sean, clear in the way he told Bo, the way he explained it was before practice, he went and told Bo today and said, hey, this is the thing. Bo was happy, smiled. Sean said there was no cake and candles. He talked to the other two quarterbacks as well. Everyone handled it well. And he really kind of said this was not a decision because Bo played so well, right? Like we're all sitting here the last 2 weeks going, this is a no-brainer. Well, it was for Sean as well. And he talked to Greg Penner. He talked to George Payton about this it's still a decision. He talked about it, how it was going to play out, what they liked from him, what they've seen so far. And Sean underscored the fact that this does not guarantee that Bo is the starting quarterback for all 17 games. No one is guaranteed a job for all 17 weeks of the season if they play poorly. But right now they feel confident that Bo is the best option. So,
okay. Did they give us any insight on backups or is that still up for debate?
Sean gave a lot of will sees in terms of backups, roster decisions, stuff like that. Putting 2 and 2 together, Sean just talked for 20 minutes. It seems like, to me, Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson are going to be competing on Sunday for a roster spot. My guess, just based off the cap situation and how this should play out, is Zach might be the backup quarterback and Jarrett would be cut because the Broncos would save some money against the cap. And then they'd bring him back as a practice squad guy, and then they could elevate him because there's a quarterback exception to the elevation on the practice squad rules. And Jarrett would probably want to come back because he knows his best chance of playing is in Denver. So we'll probably see all that play out. We already heard Sean say last week there's only a couple guys on the roster left that are up for debate. So I don't think we're going to learn all that much on Sunday. I don't think we're going to see many of the ones. Sean did say one of the big focuses now for the Broncos, not just now, but moving forward, is building the correct team around Bo in terms of stuff that fits with Bo's skill set. I found that interesting because that might lend towards some decisions, whether it's with the wide receivers or running backs, that maybe surprise people that fit what best with what fits Bo.
All right, real quick, Jake, I'm going to have you peace out because I just saw that Bo Nix is speaking at the podium. I'm going to have you go get a little listen for us, come back, and we can chat on that, all right?
Sounds good, Rach. I'll be right back.
All right, Jake Shapiro right there, everybody. Bo Nix currently talking at the podium. We will have all of that, all the big news that you need to know, get that covered here. I'm fascinated that Jake's kind of on the same thing, like the wavelength when it comes to the backup quarterback, because you do save money if you get rid of Jarrett Stidham. And I could totally see that happening. I don't know what other team would really look at Stidham and say, that's the guy we want to have on there. I know a few of you were in the comments and you were like, oh, it's going to be the Las Vegas Raiders might want to call and try and get him. I don't think so. I think that they already have a quarterback competition going on out there. They're trying to figure it out. So yeah. Keith Wilson, trade Stiddy, totally can see that happening as well. I'm excited to hear about Bo Nix, obviously speaking at the podium now. I'm sure he's excited. I'm sure he's not going to share any of that stuff. And actually, let me see if I have the clip. He really just made me laugh the other day at the podium when he was talking about just, the fact of the matter was, yeah, well, it's not my decision. And then he goes on to talk about the play, and just watching him go from like such straight face to excitement, I feel like it's just the most like Bo Nix thing ever. I'm trying to see if I have that video still, which maybe I do not. The other interesting thing I saw, and we're going to play Sean Payton's video here in just a second again, in case you missed it, but along the lines of, listen, he may not be the starter all 17 weeks. That's a little fascinating to me, of like, it's your job. Congratulations, but you got to keep it. Bill Belichick actually yesterday was talking about the fact that you can't essentially just kick out any of these guys. Like, you can't just say, oh, hey, Bo, you didn't play good the first 2 weeks. Like, that hurts the team morale. So I think, yeah, we can't really do that. I'm reading some more of the comments. So is Bo going to play week 3 preseason? That has not been announced, but I would be shocked if any of the starters play in preseason. I don't think that that's going to be happening anytime soon. I think Javonte, Zach Allen, Patrick Surtain, Jonathan Cooper, Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, Bo Nix, I'm assuming, will not be playing out there. I think that Sunday will just be Stidham versus Zach. You'll see one half from the other, one half from the other, obviously, and go from there. But in case you did miss it, Sean Payton announced Bo Nix was going to be the starting QB. I've got the clip for you. We will play it. Bo Nix currently at the podium. We will hopefully have some information coming from that very, very soon. But in case you missed it, Sean Payton announcing Bo Nix as the starting quarterback.
Just a couple quick notes. Today was a ramp-up practice. Coming off the day off. We have 50 active members of the military at practice today, and it was kind of nice to see them kind of have access that they did, and we appreciate them being here. I want to talk real quick about the quarterback position. You guys have been real patient. I understand, and respect that process for you, and for us, we've had a process. So, look, Bo Nix is going to be our starting quarterback. I felt like, and I said this to you guys 2 weeks ago, that room has been outstanding. Stidham, certainly with his experience, and then, being able to work with Zach Wilson, all 3 of those guys. We've got some tough decisions as we get into the roster. I don't want to get into all the other roster battles.
Doesn't want to get into the rest of the roster battles, so we will not know some of the other things. Those cuts will obviously be coming next Tuesday. The Broncos to take it down to their 53-man roster. So next Tuesday is going to be a really big show. Come hang out with us. We will be live breaking down everything that happens then. The final deadline is 2 p.m. Mountain Time, 4 p.m. Eastern. It does go back on what Sean Payton essentially said, though, of the fact of like, hey, I don't want to announce the starting quarterback because of all the other position battles we have going on. Obviously, he saw enough from Bo Nix, said, yep, you're going to be the starting quarterback. Jake Shapiro was just on the show not too long ago, and he said that he had spoke to Bo ahead of the practice today, said, hey, you're going to be a starting quarterback, then went and spoke to the other 2. And Bo Nix was all smiles, excited. So that was exciting stuff, too. I'm happy that we finally got that information. But I was just talking about Bo Nix when he was asked on Sunday after the preseason game if he felt like he had done enough to earn that starting job. He said, it's not my decision. I've got the clips. But just watch Bo Nix going from talking about that play, or from that decision, essentially, about becoming the starting, to the play, the touchdown that got called back. It feels like he's just got a really good grasp on everything that's going on around him. And I feel like this clip really accompanies what Bo Nix is all about.
Bo, do you think you've done enough to earn the starting quarterback job?
That's not for me to say.
Do you feel confident, though, in what you've done in 2 preseason games? Do you feel good about the body of work?
Yep.
Yeah, Bo, just talk about the one play that was called back, the
touchdown pass. Did you know you were probably over?
When I looked to the side, I kind of had a feeling, but they didn't throw a penalty, so I thought I got by, but they just said replay. So.
I love that. I feel like this just shows like the two different sides of Bo Nix, the very serious side, which he is very serious at times, but also the side that can like laugh and giggle and all of that. Let's go, Bo. Bo officially named the starting quarterback. Okay, this is interesting though. And I love that there's a lot of people invested in Zach Wilson right now because it is true. They traded for him before the draft and I said he was an insurance policy for this team. But yes, I think Zach will get an extended look in the third preseason game. I think that you might also see that. We know what Jarrett Stidham is. We've kind of seen Jarrett Stidham's ceiling in a sense, but I do believe that truthfully, we're going to see a little bit of it out of Zach Wilson. And my gut is telling me right now that he's going to be your backup quarterback. Sean Payton mentioned, and I saw one in the comments, he wants to make Zach millions, which I think it's funny that it's always about the money. But they want to make him millions, whether that's with this team or a different team. But I do think that that's probably what's going to most likely happen. Worst kept secret in Broncos country. Isn't that the truth? Yep. Sean Payton tried to hide the fact that it was going to be him. Unfortunately, is him, or not unfortunately, it is fortunately Bo Nix. We will most likely not be seeing him on Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. But yes, plenty of good stuff, you guys. Okay. I feel like that's it. Unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about, I'm sure Cortland Sutton, I'm sure all of the guys are excited. They finally have their guy. I know Broncos country is excited. The future is finally here. Bo Nix, the name, the starting Broncos quarterback. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what he's able to do in Seattle. I'm excited to see the chemistry build for these next couple of weeks up until we get to September 8th. So yeah. I think there's a lot of good stuff on the line, just reading some more of your comments. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the future. Oh, Jake Shapiro coming back in quickly. Curious what Bo Nix had to say. We'll do that, and then we will end the show. But first, Jake Shapiro, Bo Nix, what did he give us? Was he smiles? I mean, he's pretty straight-faced a lot of the time.
He smiled. He let out a couple smiles, but it seemed to him that he knew he was getting this position. He wasn't really able to tell his family because he found out before practice and the media just found out and he still hasn't been on his phone. They asked him, would he have been on his phone? He said, not really. That's not something that's for me. So he was just typical Bo, very coy. I honestly found Sean a lot more interesting than Bo in this situation. I come back to one thing that I was reminded that I didn't share with you, that Sean said, which is we needed the quarterback process to play out this way, which I found interesting. And, you know, we go back to what we heard this offseason and what we heard all summer long, which is the players in the locker room really respect Jarrett Stidham. So I think this process proved to the locker room that Bo Nix is going to give them the best chance to win football games. And that's why they went through it. They played it out in its entirety. Sean also said that Bo made a play last weekend on Sunday that he had never seen before in an NFL game, where he was kind of describing rolling out of the pocket behind the guard and he popped out. I couldn't really track it in its entirety. I didn't know exactly what Sean was talking about. Bo was asked about that play. Bo didn't know exactly what Sean was talking about. Bo said, I guess it could be a good thing or a really bad thing that I'm making plays that Sean Payton has never seen before.
Fair enough. Okay, well, it's exciting stuff. Yeah, I don't think our press conferences are going to be too crazy with Bo Nix as the starting quarterback. But hey, if you're winning games and you're scoring touchdowns, that's all people matter about. So exciting stuff. Bo Nix officially named the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos. Tons of comments coming in, so I appreciate you guys all so much. Jake, thank you for filling us in on everything we missed from the press conferences. And you guys, that's going to do it. I will be back with Cecil Lammy tomorrow. Make sure you tune in for all of that jazz and back at 10 a.m. for Denver Sports Daily as well. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Bo Nix, the future is here. Bye, everybody.